Hi everyone, Anthony Morganti here. Recently, there have been some articles written and some YouTube videos posted talking about the best way to bulk denoise images in Lightroom Classic. In today's video, I'm going to demonstrate how I go about doing it. Now, the way I do it isn't necessarily the fastest way, but in my opinion, it's the best way. So typically you'd have a number of images. You have them in a folder, and usually you're not going to edit every single one of those images. And even the images that you are going to edit, you're not necessarily going to run denoise on all of them. So what I do is I have a folder of images. For this example, I went to the Buffalo Zoo and I took a number of images, and they were taken at various ISOs. What I want to do first is I want to cull them. I want to go through each image and determine which ones I'm going to edit and which ones I'm not going to edit. Now, the way I do it is I'll click on the first one in the folder, so this image here. And what I'll do is I want to auto advance through the images. And an easy way to do that without having to go up to the menu and turn on auto advance is just tap the caps lock key. With the caps lock key, you'll auto advance through the images as you use the keyboard shortcuts for the way you want to flag them. You could flag them with actual flags or stars or color labels. It doesn't matter. When you have that caps lock key pressed in, it will auto advance to the next image. I like to use flags. And if I say wanted to edit this one, I'd give it a pick flag. So I tap the P key, and when I do, it auto advances to the next image. Let's say I don't want to edit this one. I'll tap the U key. Let's say I want to edit this one. I'll tap the P key. If, let's say I misfocus and I'm going to delete the image, I'll tap the X key. So it's P, X, and U. So that's the way I go about doing it. Also, again, I start at that first one. I'll just quickly use P, X, or U to go through those images and then determine which ones I'm actually going to edit. Now, at this point, I already did that. So I have a number of them that have pick flags. Once I'm done with that culling process, I'll tap that caps lock key to turn caps lock off. Then what I'll do is I only want to see the images in the film strip or in grid view that I'm actually going to edit. In order to do that, I go to this filter bar. That's this bar right here. And you can see right here it says filter, and I have flags. So I could just look at the images that I flagged by clicking on the pick flag. Now you'll see in grid view and in the film strip are only images that I actually picked. Now, if you don't see this filter here, what you can do, I think by default you won't actually. So if you're just starting to use Lightroom Classic, you won't see it here. What you could do is, as I just did, click on the word filter and it will roll this open, and then you'll be able to, if you use flags or star ratings or color labels, you'll be able to filter the grid and the film strip to what you want. So now I'm only looking at images that have pick flags. The next thing I mentioned is you're probably not going to run denoise on every single image, only the ones that have high ISO. So the next thing I want to do is I want to sort these by ISO. To do that, go to the toolbar. Believe it or not, this little strip of real estate directly above the film strip and below the grid is called a toolbar. I'm not sure why they call it that because there's really no tools there. But if you don't see it, tap the T key. The T key makes the toolbar come and go. Then over here, you'll notice I have this sort option. Now, you may not see that. If you don't, go to this far right and click this little downward facing arrow and make sure that sorting is or has a check mark next to it. Then go to the sort, and I want to sort by ISO. So go down and sort by ISO speed. So when you do that, the first image that you're clicked on, now I'll go to loop view again by tapping the E key. This is the lowest ISO. It should be the lowest ISO at least. So what you could do to double check is tap the I key on your keyboard a couple times. One time will bring up the file name and the date and time you took the image and the size of the image. Tap the I key again, and then it will show you some exposure info. And you can see that this was shot at ISO 1600. And if I swing all the way down to the last one, that one was shot at 12,800. So I do have increasing ISO. So let's say, for the sake of argument, that I want to apply denoise to all of these images. But that might not be the case. Maybe I don't want, maybe the first several were shot at ISO 64, and I don't need to apply denoise to those. So let's pretend that's what happened. We'll click on this one. This is the first one that I want to apply denoise to. I'll hold in the Shift key and click on the last one, and that's the last one I want to apply denoise to. So I have some of these selected that I'm going to apply denoise to. Then what I'll do is I'll jump over to the Develop module. Now, there's a couple different ways you could do this. Many people use this method that I'm going to just kind of overview, which I don't use. And the reason why they use it is because they say it's like 30% faster than the way I do it. Now, let me show it to you first. What they would do is, now they still have this sort down here, is they're clicked on one image. They would just open up their basic, or I'm sorry, they'd go to the Detail tab, and they would click on the Denoise button, let it denoise this one. Then once it does that, they'd click on Sync, and then they just check Denoise Raw Detail Super Resolution, and they click Synchronize, and then it will apply the denoise that was applied to that first image to all of the images. And they say that if you do it that way, it's like 30% faster, because this will take some time to do. Now, the reason why I don't do it that way is because I feel that it doesn't do as good a job. What I think it's doing, although I'm not 100% sure, I think it's taking the denoise that it did to the first image and applying that same exact denoise to all of the images. Now, some of these images were shot at 1600 ISO, some at 64, some at 12,800, and they'll need different types of denoise applied to them. The way I do it will make sure that the denoise is different for each of the images. So what I'll do with all of them selected is I'll go over here to the Sync button. I'll click this on so I have Auto Sync on. Then what I do is I make sure that color denoise is all the way down to 0, luminance denoise is all the way down to 0, and watch when I pull the sharpening amount all the way down to 0. It's going to apply it to all. In this case, I have 35 images selected. Then what I'll do is I'll go up here and click Denoise. Doing it this way, as far as I could tell, does take longer, but it will apply the denoise to each of the images independently of one another. And when it does that, I feel you get a better noise reduction done to all of the images. Now, of course, there are some instances when you probably don't want to do it this way. If you're a busy wedding event photographer and you have thousands of images from a shoot and a number of those were shot at relatively high ISO, you're probably not going to want to do it this way. You're probably going to want to do it the faster way, even though this will give you better results, in my opinion. Still, I could understand that. So if that is the case, definitely do it the other way. That is, don't have auto sync on. Apply the denoise to the one image that actually is selected, even though they're all kind of selected in the film strip, but one of them is active. When you apply the denoise to that one, then click on sync and make sure that you only have the denoise checkbox checked, and then click apply. And again, many people claim that that's like 30% faster that way, but I think it's faster because it's not doing a custom denoise to each of those images. Now, with that said, I'm not going to sit here and keep blabbing while this is doing this. I'm going to pause the recording and we'll come back. Probably it's going to take, it says 16 minutes. So it's going to take 16 minutes to get all of these done, and we'll come back when they're all done, and I'll have some finishing wrap-up remarks. Okay, it's just finishing up. As a matter of fact, it just finished up, and what it did now, it applied denoise to all 34 images that I have selected in the film strip. Now, let me just clarify a couple things. First of all, if you have a number of images selected in the film strip, you'll have one active image, and you can see that it's highlighted a different way than the other images are. So this is our active image. If you do not have auto sync on, it just says sync now. So you don't have auto sync on. If I did an adjustment, say I went to the basic tab and I put exposure all the way up, it would only affect this single image. See, it's only affecting that image. The other images that are selected aren't being affected. Now let me reset that. When you have sync, that little checkbox next to sync on, and now it says auto sync, when you do an adjustment, say turn exposure all the way up, not only will it get applied to that image, but it will get applied to all of the images. So when I had auto sync on and I did denoise, it got applied to all of the images at once. In my opinion, I think it does a better job when you do it that way, because what I think is happening, although I'm not 100% sure, if you have auto sync off and you do denoise to one image, then you click on the sync and you're now going to apply that to all the rest. What I think it does, it just copies the denoise that was on that one image to all those other images. So it's not doing a custom denoise to those other images. And that, I believe, is why it's faster than it is the way I do it. So that's the way I do it. Now, what I'll do typically is once I'm done with the denoise like I am here, particularly when I shoot wildlife, because often when you're shooting wildlife, you're firing off a number of images. You can see that I have a number of different shots of the Arctic fox, but they're pretty much all the same image. Here's some of a bighorn sheep, pretty similar. Here's some more of a bighorn sheep. What I'll do is I'll unselect everything. Usually I just click off like to one of the unselected ones. Then I'll click on, say, this bighorn sheep. Then I'll hold the shift key in and click on the last one that looks the same. So all three of these are pretty much the same scene. Then I'll turn on this auto sync and I'll do an edit. And this saves a lot of time. So when I do this edit now, because I have auto sync on, it's going to be applied to all three of these images that I have selected in the film strip. This is the way I'll bulk edit. And even when I do like an event, like a wedding or something, this is quite often the way I'll go about doing it. Because, in my opinion, it's faster when you do it this way. If you could, edit all similar images simultaneously, of course, it's going to save you a lot of time. So I come through and you can see that I have these 4 images of this bird. This was a rosette spoonbill. So I'll click on the first one, hold the shift key down, click on the last one. Auto sync is turned on. So when I do an edit here, it's going to get applied to all of them. So again, I do this after I do denoise like I just did. So I'll come in and do this. And this will save a lot of time. So because I have a lot of similar poses, then I'll go through. Now all these 4 eagle shots all look similar. So I'll click on that first one, click on the last one. So they're all selected. Auto sync is on. And I'll do my edit here as well. And this works with masking. So of course, if you're doing masking, you could do this as well. So if you're going to mask, like for the, go up here and we're going to mask the subject. It will build masks for everything. It's going to take a little while to build those masks, but it will. And then you can come in and do whatever you're going to do. Let's see here. I'm going to add some texture and some sharpness. Maybe we'll go to tone and we'll maybe brighten up the head of the eagle a little bit like that. And it gets done to all of them simultaneously. So that's how I go about doing denoise in bulk mainly. That was the main thing I was trying to teach in this tutorial. Thank you, everyone who watches my videos. I really do appreciate it. I'll talk to you guys soon.